Virtue and logic. Virtue formed the basis of Stoic ethics, defined as moral excellence achieved through wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. While happiness was prized, it derived from living virtuously regardless of external outcomes. Cicero wrote, "The place of entire virtue is within us, in our acts of will." Stoics viewed logos, or reason, as the governing principle of the universe, a divine fire or spirit permeating all of nature. Humanity uniquely possessed logos endowed as logic and ability to understand causal connections. Through logic and awareness of natural law, virtue could be cultivated. Stoics aim to fulfill duties according to one's role in society as determined by nature. Zeno defined the goal as living consistently and logically, aligned with natural order rather than emotions that often disrupted reason's influence. Nature guided acting justly rather than following fads or expediencies detached from reality. Fate, natural law, and apathy. Central to the Stoic worldview was fate, all existing as determined links in an infinite causal chain stretching from the inception of the universe. Thus, humans lacked control over outcomes but could guide reactions through reason and virtue. They advised accepting what cannot be changed and focusing improvement on controllable thoughts instead of uncontrolled conditions. Stoics saw natural laws governing humanity similar to physical laws like gravity. Proper living involved understanding one's role and rationally fulfilling nature-assigned duties rather than rebelling through folly or vice. They aimed to live according to reason and justice, functioning as duty required rather than when dictated. Apathy referenced equanimity, not indifference, towards externals beyond control like health, wealth, or reputation which fortune alone determined. It meant maintaining composure amid turbulence by focusing on virtue within rather than perturbing over unpredictable conditions that might transpire adversely without reflecting personal merit. Wisdom involved distinguishing between ungovernable events and governable judgments applied to them. Cosmopolitanism, amor fati, and simplicity. Stoics viewed all people as equally deserving global citizens sharing planetary citizenship rather than belonging uniquely to any city or faction. Universal reason bound humanity despite superficial differences, making philosophical brotherhood transcend geographic borders. Following natural law, Stoics embraced fate through amor fati, loving one's destiny as determined links in nature's causal chain however manifested. Complaint revealed a failure to accept reality cooperatively, and efforts focused better on controllable than uncontrollable factors. They advised simple, unburdened lives involving few desires amid basic comforts. Simple living reduced dependency on fortune's fluctuations, which provided security as a privilege rather than entitlement. Few quality relationships sufficed for fellowship rather than crowds leaving still lonely. Simplicity cultivated self-sufficiency, equanimity, and mindfulness of life's profound yet ephemeral privileges. Duty, impressions, and apatheia. For Stoics, the good involved active, purposeful living through dutiful participation consistent with natural design rather than indolence or thought alone bearing fruit. True wisdom meant enacting virtues diligently amid life's obstacles rather than talking theoretically without durable habits formed. Externals themselves were value neutral, gaining spice of virtue or vice solely from human judgments applied. Stoics thus aimed lucidity, apprehending situations accurately to form prudent impressions undistorted by preconceptions. External events occurred indifferently, but retaining clarity shaped quality of experience. Their ultimate goal was apatheia, tranquility obtained by governing desires and rejecting turbulence from externals beyond control. Subduing passions meant acting rationally, not impulsively, through discipline over visceral reactions distorting reason's governance. Remaining undisturbed amid difficulties fortified equanimity available to meet all vicissitudes mindfully. Providence, oikiosis, and social nature. Stoics perceived nature, or providence, as profoundly meaningful regardless surface randomness. Reason's order implied purpose woven into existence's tapestry apparent through virtue cultivated. Overall design substantiated value despite life's mixedness, defying simplistic theodicies. They conceived humanity developing from self-interest into social/moral being. Oikiosis described expanding benevolence from self to family/community through mutual responsibilities recognized. Humans exhibited sociality as inherited from communally oriented pack animals. Fulfillment stemmed inherently from contribution versus separation, leaving depleted relationally. Additionally, fellowship implied duties of care, truth, and reform amid citizens bound philosophically prior to political factions dividing coercively. Wisdom promoted equitable cooperation over conflict, aggravating disharmony needlessly through insensitivity or dogma. Aphasia, ataraxia, and clear judgment. For Stoics, removing false beliefs through aphasia, illnesses of the soul, meant therapy through reasonableness rather than stoking resentments. Objectivity cured discontents by appreciating life as it unfolds cooperatively versus perceiving natural order as personal offense demanding retaliation. Ataraxia, or peace of mind, emerged by confronting errors transparently yet gently to transform rather than attack identities reactively. Progress occurred prudently through patience as examples encouraging humility as effectively as force diminishing openness to reflection. Insight illuminated gradually what propaganda seldom shifted by battling surface attributes. They aimed catalepsis, the clear apprehension of truth accessible through attentive discernment purified of biases. Careful consideration substantiated positions equitably versus self-interested defenses of preconceptions. Reasonable engagement elevated perspectives cooperatively rather than conflict escalating rigidity on all sides. Accuracy steered communal progress constructively through equitable cooperation rather than debate antagonistically polarizing participants. Apathy, indifference, ends, and natural duties. Stoics classified some matters as indifferent, neither virtuous nor vicious relating strongly to happiness. Such preferences could be allowed provided moderate and not pursued compulsively anguishing others. Liberty remained where justice permitted diversities coexisting peaceably rather than compulsory uniformity. The telos or end of life constituted living according to human nature as rational, social animals, cooperating consistently with order woven intricately through creation. Fulfillment emerged rationally fulfilling purpose through contribution versus believing life fragmented meaning. Kathakanta guided behavior in accordance with natural system, duties of care, truth, and justice based on mutual dependencies recognized. Social bonds mattered intrinsically more than legal technicalities alone defining conduct narrowly. A principled philosophy oriented participation purposefully within communities mixedness encountered judiciously through virtues developing character resiliently. Acrasia and overcoming vice. Stoics attributed vice primarily to ignorance rather ignorance of willpower viewed as perfectly under control through reason cultivated. Education meant correction through sagely examples rather than condemnation threatening openness to growth. Progress resulted by confronting deficiencies supportively as learnable through perseverance versus attack exacerbating defensiveness. They aimed confronting problems directly yet sensitively to remedy versus suppressing issues counterproductively. Addressing trade-offs intelligently involved considering necessities versus virtue. Living according to principles of wisdom, justice, courage, and self-discipline was paramount over pleasure or fame. Logos, universal reason and order underlies nature. Stoics saw humanity as distinctively endowed with reason. Fate, all is determined by an endless causal chain so free will can guide reactions but not outcomes which are fated. Natural law, life should be lived virtuously according to natural laws and one's role/duties rather than emotions or customs.